Lev Ershler.
The show is about to start. We will appreciate if you can silence your phones and take out your cameras.
Yes, United States, yes, the resolution of the Dutch Committee for Palestine was adopted by 33 votes, 17 against, and a faith.
ברוכים הבאים לחגיגות יום העצמאות. What an amazing day we had. We had an incredible day here in school. We started with a special tefillah led by first ever parade down the streets holding Israeli flag and singing songs, showing the whole city who we are and what the school is. Then we came back to the school and we had different stations with art projects and learning and cooking and all those kind of stuff. That all of us about the state of Israel and all of that for the 70th birthday of Yom the state of Israel. So first we need to thank all the people who have been involved in this great project. Rabbi Berman, Rabbi Stein, Rabbi Lieb, and Anita Back. A special thank you to the amazing Sharon Jerusalem. Thank you to the team of Ivrit teachers and the Shlichot headed by Daphne Feldman. And a special thank you to the amazing Nina. Thank you to Jonathan and Bnei Akiva, who proved that Bnei Akiva involvement in this evening was a very good idea. And thank you to everyone who helped this morning and today, making this day so special. And last but not least, to our students, without you, this year, This year, we are celebrating the 70th birthday of the State of Israel. It is a very special and exciting day, the fulfillment of the dream of so many people for so many generations. Today, Israel is flourishing in so many areas, and every day you hear about Israel, and especially about the people in Israel. I believe, and I'm sure you too believe, that Israel would not have gotten to where it is today without the people who led it, created, researched in it, developed it, and built it. And most important, Israel would not be, sorry. And most important, Israel would not be where it is today without the people who dreamed it. This year, we chose to focus with the students' project, with the play that you're going to watch, and throughout the whole day, on the people who made the country. On the special people, without them, a major element of the creation of what we call the State of Israel would not be complete. But I think it's enough to talk about the 70 years so far. As Yom HaAtzma'ut drawn to a close, it is a good idea to look ahead and think about the next 70 years. What are dreams for the next 70 years and more? What do we want to achieve and give to the State of Israel and the Jewish world? I look ahead and I see the people in front of me. And they are my students and your students. They are my children and your children. They are the people who will make the State of Israel even better, even advanced, even more advanced, more peaceful, and more stronger in every area they will choose. And maybe in 70 years from now, on the ceremony, one of them will be the subject. I encourage our students and our children to realize their dream and see how they can give and to be a part of the wonderful and beautiful country that is the State of Israel. I would like to invite Rabbi Bellman. Rabbi Bellman.
And the one person that deserves so much admiration from all of us and appreciation, what Mrs. Edry has put in to the programming at the school today and this evening's event, and all of the other events associated with B'nai Akiva. She made reference to the parade that we had today. That too was remarkable. The sense of pride that the entire school had, walking in the streets, waving the flags, singing and dancing, was something to behold. And we'll see about the future doing this, but it certainly was a wonderful activity, a wonderful event, a wonderful celebration of Israel today. And we should continue to have that kind of celebration. I'd like to share with you just a quick thought. The Mishnah Pirkei Avot makes reference to different ages of people. And it says that somebody who arrives at the age of 60, or 60, they arrive at zikna. They arrive at elderliness. But shivim, somebody who arrives to that decade of 70, that's seva. And seva, I'm not exactly sure how to best translate the word seva, but it means a mature elder person. And it represents, when we think about 70, a span of time that is true maturity. Maturity that goes beyond simply arriving at a ripe old age. But to get to 70, you've really achieved a maturity within your elderliness. And Israel today has arrived at that gil, at that age of Shiv'im. That 70 years was the span of time of the first exile after the destruction of the first temple. And we returned after 70 years. That span of 70, it really allows us, this Yom HaAtzma'ut, to reflect on this mature state of Israel. Really, really quite remarkable, and we should all feel enormously proud that we have arrived. Israel has arrived. It's mature. It's not just a fledgling country, but it has arrived at a point in its history where we can look and see amazing technology that comes out of Israel, amazing advancements in education, amazing advancements in art, in all fields of study. And it allows us to realize that Israel is no longer an experiment. It's not a project. Israel has arrived. And I'll draw from one other pasuk in the Torah. When we talk about elders and we talk about zaken and seva, the Torah says, "V'hadarta b'lifnei seva takum v'hadarta b'nei zaken." Before a seva, before this person that arrives at 70, takum, one should arise, one should applaud, one should get up. And I'll ask everybody to stand up. Lifnei seva, Israel, the seva. Please, everybody stand up. Takum, and applaud. You may be seated. And we look forward to not just the next 70 years, but all of us, our children, our grandchildren, our great-grandchildren, to be participants, whether we actually live in Israel or we're connected by living outside of Israel and supporting it. This should be, and this will be, the continuation and the central point of Jewish identity. May we enjoy from year to year and celebrate this great country of ours.
Instead of just doing a ceremony, like we're doing every year, we decided to do something special today. The 8th graders and 9th graders came up with a play to perform before me. I would like to call our 8th graders and 2 of our 9th graders to show you the people of Israel.
Hello everyone, and welcome to our special Yom HaAtzma'ut program. We have so many interesting things planned for you today, and we're so glad you've joined us. Today is not an ordinary day at all. Today is a very special birthday for a very special country. Today is the 70th birthday of the State of Israel.
Wow, 70 years. It sounds like a long time, but it's not that long for a country. But just the same, we would like to show you today a small part of what they have done to build and advance in this beautiful little country, the State of Israel.
Yes, yes. Our guest today will be from the past and present of Israeli history. We'll even hear from some choirs and see some special films and perhaps make a dream or two come true. And all this is in honor of Israel's Independence Day, Yom HaAtzma'ut.
So let's get started. Our first guest is very important in Jewish history. Israel's first prime minister, a statesman, and one of the people who contributed most to shaping the country. David Ben-Gurion.
Please join us.
Thank you very much for inviting me to this very special event.
It is our pleasure and honor.
Mr. Ben Gurion, people know a lot of things about you, like you're Israel's first prime minister and defense minister. But can you tell us 5 things that maybe people in the audience don't know about you?
With pleasure. First, I exercise every day by running and standing on my head. My previous surname was Green, but I changed it to sound more Israeli. I have 3 kids. My favorite food is my wife Paula's cooking. And last but not least, my favorite and what I consider the most important part of Israel is the Negev.
The Negev?
Absolutely. The Negev takes up most of the map of Israel, but most of it is not yet inhabited or farmed.
So, do you believe that everyone should move to the Negev?
Of course. I believe so strongly in this beautiful desert region that after I finished my first term as Prime Minister, me, my wife, and children moved to Kibbutz Sde Boker in the Negev.
That's very impressive. What did you do there?
I worked mainly with goats and in the fields. Me and Paula were the oldest residents in the kibbutz. It was wonderful.
But you know, Mr. Ben Gurion, that today, this is no longer the situation in the Negev. Today, there are settlements in cities, agriculture, nature, and there's even a university in Beersheba named after you.
Really? I can't believe it.
If you don't believe us, then maybe you'll believe somebody who works there. We would like to invite Yechiel, who works in the pepper fields of Kibbutz Chatzeba.
Shalom, shalom, shalom. How excited to meet Ben Gurion.
Thank you. It's an honor to meet you.
Yechiel, welcome to our program and happy Yom HaAtzma'ut. Can you tell everyone what's happening today in the Negev?
Gladly. As you all know, the Negev takes up a very large part of the state of Israel, but it's an arid desert area. So it's very hot, there's hardly any rain, and the soil is so sandy. But for the last 70 years, we managed to make it bloom and grow the very best crops, there of all places.
Could you give us any examples?
Of course, there's watermelon, dates, cherry tomatoes, which were invented in the Negev, and flowers that just love the sun. And these are grown in the Negev today.
Wow, that sounds amazing. Thanks for all you do for the Negev today and for all your agricultural achievements.
Thank you for investing so much in this beautiful area. And it's thanks to you that we have a state today.
Thank you both for everything that you've done so far. Happy Yom HaAtzma'ut. Chag Sameach.
Chag Sameach! Off to the Negev!
Wow, that was so moving. I don't know how we could top that.
Don't worry, we have plenty more excitement coming up in our program. Our next guest is Natan Sharansky. To us, Natan Sharansky may be the Zionist most passionate about making Aliyah to Israel. You know what? Let's watch a short video about him.
That brought down the Soviet Empire and freed millions of Jews. Natan Sharansky, human rights activist, Zionist, and refusenik, fighting for his right to be a free Jew.
I was haunted, I was arrested sometimes, persecuted in different forms.
He also fought for the love of his life, Avital, but on the eve of their wedding, they were cruelly separated by the Soviet regime. A short while later, in a trumped-up trial, Sharansky is accused of being a traitor to the Soviet regime and sentenced to 13 years of hard labor. Sharansky's last words to the court.
בסוף אמרתי שכמו שיהודים במשך אלפים שנה ויומדים אחד לשני לשנה רבה בראשון, וככה אני אומר עכשיו לאביטל, לישראל ולעם שלנו לשנה רבה בירושלים, ולמשפט אין לי מה להגיד.
For 9 years, Sharansky sits alone in the punishment cell in Siberia, while Avital runs a worldwide campaign to free him. She garners the support of world Jewry and international leaders, including U.S. President Ronald Reagan. On February 11, 1986, the world holds its breath as Natan Sharansky walks to freedom. On that same historic day, Sharansky arrives in the land of Israel to the joy of his mother and wife, to thousands of rejoicing Israelis and Jews around the world. After his release, Sharansky continues his struggle for the freedom of Soviet Jewry. Natan Sharansky, the hero who inspired a generation, ministered in 4 consecutive Israeli governments, the only foreign recipient of both the Congressional Medal of Honor and the Presidential Medal of Freedom, never loses sight of his mission.
Impressive. What devotion to Eretz Yisrael. So moving that he fulfilled his Zionist dream. Truly inspiring.
Yes, and today he's the chairman of the Jewish Agency, whose goal is to bring as many Jews as possible to the land of Israel.
After all that he experienced during his life, you'd think he'd want to rest a little. But he's a person who's devoted his entire life to Aliyah and Zionism.
I completely agree with you, but I have some bad news. At the last minute, Mr. Sharansky was unable to join us today because he's receiving the Israel Prize at this moment. But the good news is that he sent a message in honor of Israel's 70th Independence Day.
לפני קילו העולם, אתם עושים עבודת קודש לחזק קשר של כל יהודי בעולם עם מדינת ישראל, עם ארץ ישראל, עם תורת ישראל. מדינת ישראל השיגה הצלחות אדירות. קיבצנו גלויות, הבאנו 3.5 מיליון יהודים מכל העולם למדינת ישראל. אנחנו מחזקים זהות יהודית בכל העולם. אנחנו מטפלים בכל האתגרים של עלייה וקליטה כל היום. יש לנו כאן פרטנר מאוד חשוב, בני עקיבא. תמשיך להביא מסר ציוני לכל מקום הכי נראה בעולם. לכל יהודי יש לו בית, יש לו מדינת ישראל.
How amazing that he sent this message in our honor. Thank you, Mr. Sharansky. We'd like to congratulate you on winning the Israel Prize, and our lovely young Chanichim have prepared a song in your honor about Aliyah to Israel. I present the 3rd and 5th graders with the song Come With Me to the Land of Israel. Bo iti le'eretz Yisrael.
This brings us to the third part of our program. You know, our ideology is split into three parts: the land of Israel, the people of Israel, and the Torah of Israel. After we talked about the Negev and the land of Israel, Aliyah and the people of Israel, I'd like to invite our third guest to come and talk to us about the Torah of Israel. Rav Cook, please join us.
What a pleasure to meet you, Rabbi. I'm so honored.
Thank you, and happy Yom HaAtzma'ut. Chag Sameach.
I'm really excited to meet you. It's not every day that you get to meet the first Ashkenazi rabbi of the state of Israel, an author of so many important books, a man who brought the secular public closer to Judaism, and who founded Merkaz Harav Yeshiva in Jerusalem.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here in this community and see people with kippot and their eyes shining with Torah study. It really warms my heart.
May I ask you some questions?
Of course.
As a part of your work as a rabbi in Israel, you conducted the Moshe Vote campaign and traveled among the secularly kibbutzim to try to bring people closer to their Jewish heritage. How did you feel when you succeeded?
That is an excellent question. It's impossible to describe the feeling of emotion when a person who initially chooses not to be in a Jewish wedding decides to stand under the chuppah with his wife and say the words, HaAtzma'ut li. It really brings a great sense of satisfaction and a sense of mission to the people of Israel.
You asked to have 3 dates engraved on your headstone. What are they?
The first date is the date when I made Aliyah to Israel. The second date is the date when I ascended to Jerusalem. And the third date is when I ascended to heaven.
It was that important to you to make Aliyah to Israel and Jerusalem?
I believe this is one of the most important pillars of our life.
We want young Michal to join us. She'll tell us a little bit about herself.
Hi, my name is Michal. I'm 19 years old and I'm from Kfar HaRoah.
Kfar HaRoah? I've never heard of it.
It is a religious agriculture settlement named after you, Rabbi Avraham HaKohen Cook. The initials of your name, Roah.
Wow, really? I'm so honored. A land settlement in Israel named after me? Thank you.
Many of the students who graduated from your yeshiva and Merkaz Harav, chose to establish settlements all over Israel. And many of these communities have yeshivot and midrashot.
And what are you doing now?
I'm studying at Midrashet Migdalos.
Oh, and what are you studying there? Medicine, teaching?
No, at the Midrashet we study Torah, and there are only girls there.
Wow, that's news to me. I've never heard of Torah institutions for only girls. Who are the rabbis there?
The truth is that we mainly have women rabbiniyot that teach there.
Wow, that's so great. I'm so happy to hear that women are also learning Torah these days.
Rav Cook, can I take this opportunity and ask you to learn with me as my chavruta?
Gladly. Let's go to the Beit Midrash.
Thank you to Rav Cook and Michal. We're so happy you came and joined us.
I am so happy that we've been given the pleasure to host this special program.
I completely agree with you. Every few years in Israel, we have elections. And this time, it is especially difficult. So we decided to bring the two people contesting for the leadership of the country to a head-to-head debate, Binyamin versus Binyamin.
On the right, we have a distinguished and accomplished individual, an economist, a graduate at MIT, a member of a Special Forces unit, and the longest-serving Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu. And on the left, we have the person who formed the country, a journalist, a legal expert, a writer, a playwright, a statesman, the man behind the beard, Benjamin Zev Theodore Herzl.
Hello to both of you, and thank you very much for coming.
Okay, we'd like to start off the debate with a statement from each of you about your vision for the state of Israel. Go ahead.
In my vision, I see a country in which a Zionist vision is fulfilled, in which all those present are Hebrew Jews, farmers who believe in Zionism, Jewish teachers, Jewish policemen, and even the convicts in jail will be Jewish.
Well, I believe that our country should be a Jewish state with freedom of religion and freedom of occupation. A state in which everyone can express their opinion and engage in what they want to do and what they can do for the state of Israel.
Today, we'd like to hear your opinion on what shape the state of Israel should take in various areas. The first issue is simple. What do you think the flag should look like?
I love our flag very much. I think it represents a connection between Zionism and Judaism and between heaven and earth. The two blue stripes represent the Tali, and with the Star of David in the middle, they're a wonderful combination.
What a strange description of a flag. I think the flag should represent people's daily lives. It should have a white background that symbolizes purity and 7 gold stars that symbolize the 7 hours of daily work. Take my word for it, that's what it will look like in the end. Should it come?
Don't you dare. The second subject we'd like to talk about is what language do you think we should speak in Israel?
I don't think Hebrew is all that important. People can talk whatever language they want, whether it's German, Yiddish, or Hebrew.
Well, I think everyone should speak Hebrew. We also need to send shlichim all over the world to teach everyone Hebrew.
What city would you say should be the capital of the state of Israel?
That's obvious. The most important city today, in 1901 in Eretz Yisrael, should be the capital city. The city where the most people live, an economically vibrant city, a city that never rests. Of course, I'm referring to the city of Haifa.
Haifa? Who would even consider Haifa? That's like saying the capital of the United States should be Detroit. Of course, the most important city in Israel is Jerusalem. Even outside, President Trump said so himself this year.
Trump? Who's Trump? Does he live in Haifa?
Oh, okay. What do you think of Aliyah? Do you think it's an important value for the Jewish state?
Of course I do. Everyone should make Aliyah from all over the world. Everyone is welcome in our wonderful country. The location of our country is also ideal. It's in the middle between Europe, Asia, and Africa. It has seas, mountains, and plains.
True, but I'm not sure the state of Israel should be where it is. What do you think of Uganda?
Uganda?
Yes, what's wrong with Uganda? We'll move all the Jews to East Africa, where the British will give us space, and we'll live in peace with the lions.
But what if they hijack airplanes? What will happen to my brother?
Airplanes? What are airplanes?
Okay, let's stop here. I think we've heard two very interesting opinions on the state of Israel. Herzl, would you like to write your ideas down?
Of course. I'm already writing my book, Out in the Land, where you find my vision for Israel. I wonder if it will have any impact.
Thank you very much for inviting me. But the truth is, I have to run. Because after all, today is Israel's 70th Independence Day. Herzl, maybe you'd like to come. You may learn a thing or two.
Gladly.
Well, that was interesting. But it was arguments like those that ultimately established our state. I just hope that Herzl won't be too shocked by the state of Israel today.
How can anyone not be in shock by the state of Israel today? Look what's happening there. Flourishing settlement activity, buildings everywhere, midrashot and yeshivot full of students studying Torah. Over the past 70 years, over 3 million people have made Aliyah to Israel.
It really is very impressive. And that's why I'd like to invite our next guest, who is a young scientist in Israel and a member of the next generation of technology, engineer Omer Gal.
Hi, how are you doing? Welcome, Omer. I see you wore your vest today.
These are my work clothes. Is that a problem? That's how it is in Israel.
No worries. We're very happy that you're here. Omer, you're an engineer in the desalination industry in Israel and abroad. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Sure. As everyone knows, Israel has very little fresh water, so they have to rely on rainfall for water. This can be very problematic, especially in dry years.
So, in recent years, we've developed a system that makes fresh water out of salty seawater, and that fresh water flows to almost every home in Israel.
Beautiful. So how many desalination facilities are there in Israel today?
There are 9 desalination plants throughout Israel along the Mediterranean Sea and in Eilat along the Red Sea.
So how many people do these facilities provide water to?
80% of Israeli citizens now drink desalinated water.
Wow, that's really impressive.
It is indeed. Think about how much it helps the state of Israel, an arid country that can continue to grow and flourish thanks to desalination. This project offers a solution to many different problems.
Can I ask you a personal question?
Of course.
You're a young man who's doing a great deal for the state of Israel. What motivates you? Who's your role model?
Without thinking twice, my role model is President Chaim Weizmann.
Why Chaim Weizmann?
Chaim Weizmann was the first president of the state of Israel. He developed the foreign policy of the young state, and we owe him a great deal. You know, for example, that the Balfour Declaration was thanks to him, but what not many people know is that he was also a professor in chemistry and whose papers and developments are still in use today. I learned about him while studying at the Technion, which led me to write my doctorate in chemistry and agriculture at the Weizmann Institute of Science in Rehovot. My greatest dream is to meet him, thank him, and perhaps even to learn a little from him.
So we did the research on you, and we have good news. Your dream is about to come true.
What? I can't believe it.
Let's hear for the first president of the state of Israel, Professor Chaim Weizmann.
Happy Yom HaAtzma'ut.
Wow, I can't believe I'm meeting you. Thanks to you, I am what I am.
Professor
Thanks for everything.
Professor Weizmann, this is Omer Goff, an engineer in Israel's water desalination industry. Thanks to him and others like him, Israel has succeeded in triumphing over its water shortage.
I too am very glad to meet you, young man. Tell me, why did you decide to enter the water desalination industry?
I believe that Israel's technological innovations have an impact on its foreign policy and standing in the world, so I look for a solution to a global problem.
I too am a great believer in that. Tell me, why do you have a suitcase with you?
The suitcase is because I just got back from California, where we just finished installing the largest desalination plant in the Western Hemisphere.
Very interesting. I'm sure that thanks to scientific partnerships like this, Israel's standing in the world is flourishing.
It helps. It's important to understand that Israel is currently one of the leaders in many technological areas. Many Israeli inventions even save lives. Doctors around the world use Israeli medical development and their treatments, diagnosis, and surgery. Israel invests in our future, and every day a new invention comes onto the market. I am proud to be a scientist in Israel, and perhaps one day I will even join the distinguished list of Israeli Nobel Prize winners.
Now I'm also proud to be a scientist in Israel, and even prouder of our country.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, the first president and the scientist, Chaim Weizmann, and to the engineer of the future, Omer Goff. Omer, I think you're forgetting something. Omer.
I think it's time for a musical interlude.
Yes, we'll have one soon. But first, a riddle. Who knows what the following words have in common? Ekdach, gun, tashvetz, crossword puzzle, magevet, towel, kruvit, cauliflower, and raket, train.
Gun, crossword puzzle, towel, cauliflower, and train? I have no idea. Maybe our audience knows.
You know what? Let's have our next guest tell us the answer. Eliezer Ben Yehuda, come on up.
Greetings! I am humbled and deeply honored to be here with you on this wonderful occasion. Thank you.
It is our honor.
Before you entered, I asked the audience a question. What do the following words have in common? Ekdach, gun, tashvetz, crossword puzzle, magevet, towel, kruvit, cauliflower, and rakevet, train. Do you know the answer to the riddle?
Well, the answer to that question is elementary, my dear moderator. It's my life's work.
Cauliflower is your life's work.
Don't be silly. Inventing new words in Hebrew and disseminating them is my life's work. All of the words that you mentioned are words that I invented for our old new language.
Oh, so what is your vision?
Well, in my vision, all of the people of Israel, from young to old, will speak Hebrew at home, at school, in the shops, and in the streets. Hebrew will become an everyday language that'll thrive and prosper, moving from the pages of the Bible to become our spoken language.
You know that Eliezer ben Yehuda invented words for his son who wanted to speak Hebrew at home. That's where it all began. And today, Hebrew is a language spoken by Jews all over the world.
Really?
Really? In your honor, the children of the school have provided an Israeli song in Hebrew. Would you like to hear?
There's nothing I'd like more.
I would like to invite the 4th and 5th grade to sing the song Silsulim, and the conductors will be Israel's hottest singers of today, Stanek and Benel.
love for Israel.
What? How did you understand the words of the song? It wasn't even in Hebrew. What language was that? I didn't understand a thing.
Eliezer ben Yehuda! You have no idea how cool I think you are. Inventing a new language is not easy at all.
What does he want from me?
Look, Ben Yehuda, the reason you didn't understand me or the song is because the Hebrew language is the only language in the world that has been revived and reinvented, and it continues to be built every day.
Can you teach me?
Sure. Repeat after me. Hakol beseder, tudu bom.
Hakol beseder, tudu bom. You've just heard that the Hebrew language continues to grow and develop.
But not just the language. It seems to me that we saw today how Israel continues to grow and develop in many areas. It's simply amazing. It doesn't stand still for even a moment.
The country doesn't stand still. Its people don't stand still. The people are the ones who make the country. For